Hey everyone, glad to be giving an update here about Emmanuel Clarkston and kind of a quarterly one. There's been a lot that's been happening and so many things within not only the community of Emmanuel. We've seen just some really exciting growth, not only in numbers, but also kind of in depth of community over the last season. And I want to also give you an update on top of that to talk a little bit about some of the exciting things that are happening within Emmanuel as we participate in sharing the gospel within our communities. We participate in what we talk about regularly, which is being a church that is focused on intentional mission, even while we have honest community within. And then we're always focused on the gospel being right at the center so that the gospel is clearly proclaimed. People are able to understand what they believe and why they believe it, and to continue in growing in depth of understanding of who they are in Christ, or for those who are exploring, getting to go, oh, this is what Christians believe. And then people actually finding out who they are in Christ because they embrace faith. So, lots of exciting things happening. Want to share a lot of those with you today. And as we head into Holy Week here, wanted to get this in a little bit before that because I know sometimes it can just be encouraging to hear about the work of the gospel all throughout the world and maybe a little bit in your backyard if you're here in the Metro Detroit area about what God is doing to move the gospel forward, even as we celebrate what he has done through Jesus Christ to bring the gospel to us. So, some exciting updates. Let's jump in. First update is this. We continue onward with questioning Christianity. We just had a gathering about a week ago that was just tremendous. Had a number of people who are new and exploring the Christian faith or re exploring the Christian faith. And so that was a really encouraging time. We moved back to our original location of the Honeycomb. And so it was nice to be, as it were, back at home at the Honeycomb. But as we dug into the question of how can there only be one true religion, one of the things that was really significant was hearing different people who were interacting not only in our large group discussion, but also in these smaller group discussions that happened, who are at all different stages of exploring what Christian belief might mean for them. And so I would just encourage you, those of you who are prayer partners or your financial partners, or all around who are partnering with Emmanuel, one, just to continue to pray for those who are coming to questioning Christianity. It's been a really exciting time to see a lot of people asking tremendously good questions, and then to get to sit with those questions, sometimes helping to give something that might be helpful as they continue to pursue in between times that maybe we grab coffee or the next question in Christianity. Even for those who go, you know what, I'm actually at the spot where I want to begin exploring Christianity from within. In other words, actually attending uh, church and going, what is Christian worship all about? So that's been really exciting. I just want to say uh, thank you so much to everybody who has supported us in this work. Um, there are a lot of exciting stories. I can't share them all here, but send me a text. Let's grab coffee. Would love to share some of those stories with you personally of just the way in which people are exploring through something like Question Christianity. Uh, Maybe a few other things that are really exciting. So if that's an external, intentional mission aspect of Emmanuel right now, that's exciting. We're also seeing some exciting things happen in terms of internal, honest community within Emmanuel. And that's kind of coming in two forms. We've had a lot of new members join Emmanuel over the last season, but kind of between January and March here, and that's included a lot of new families who are coming to be part of Emmanuel, but it's also included a lot of Oakland University students as well. And one of the things we love about Oakland University students is, yeah, they're at school studying for a certain portion of time, but a lot of students from that school will tend to remain in the area, and so that's been really encouraging. So part of that then is we've wanted to then connect both these new families who have joined and students into neighborhood groups. Neighborhood groups are just what they sound like. They're small groups, but the basic idea of them is that there's always an open seat for someone who is exploring the Christian faith, and that the conversation there anticipates that if you were exploring the Christian faith, you could attend, uh, and it's not like a bait and switch type of a thing, right? Where it's like, haha, we got you here, and now uh, hear the gospel for the next 3 hours or something like that. No, instead, it's actually a space where, because we try to take this mindset of being curious as Christians at Emmanuel, it's a spot where somebody could enter in and say, "Hey, I've got questions." And here is a group of Christians and non-Christians who are exploring truth together. So yeah, there's Bible study. Yes, there's prayer. And yes, there's really great food where you're enjoying time together, uh, really digging into the deep questions of life and the deep things of God. So that's been really exciting to see those launched. They're just getting underway, but we're very excited that we've got 5 of these groups that are underway. The next really exciting thing that I want to share with you is that Emmanuel now has its first church planting resident. And you may be thinking to yourself at this moment, Micah, Emmanuel is a church plant. And you are absolutely correct. We are. But remember, we're part of the Detroit Project, and our aim is to be planting churches that plant churches. One of the ways that you do that is you think about bringing people in who can explore their vocational calling, their ministry calling, and whether or not the Lord would bring them into participating in a church plant. The best way to do that is full immersion into a church plant, full immersion into the life and the ministry and everything else like that of a church plant. And so our first church planting resident is Wes Weber and his wife Naomi, and they are going to be involved in so many different areas of Emmanuel as they explore what God may be calling them into. But it's really exciting because one of the things that we have going now are these neighborhood groups, which we hope one day will actually be an integral part of how additional churches are planted in the next town over. So when we're hoping that we see uh, growth within these neighborhood groups, that they'll grow to the extent that eventually, as Emmanuel grows, we will be ready to send people out into a community, but we will already have a group that's there that's going, we are ready to be part of this church in whatever town that ends up being in. So Wes and Naomi will be part of that, and that's very exciting. Wes is going to be helping out with everything from outreach to things like Peace Fest, right? That kind of fits in that outreach area. He'll be helping out with Peace Fest, be helping out with helping to lead in just everyday pastoral ways within the church as well, that will really help Emmanuel out, and Lord willing, it'll be a really beneficial thing for them as well. So we're excited about that. Maybe a few other things to mention would be this: we're also utilizing our space at Life Point Chapel now as something that would be a blessing to the community. So we're always focused on this. You know, we're involved in doing things like helping to do yard cleanups and home repairs through the Community Impact Weekend. We're involved in helping out our community and seeking the flourishing of it through things like helping out with the concerts in the park during the summer and food truck rallies and other things that the town just needs help with putting on. But in addition to that, we're also trying to look for ways that we might even use our physical space at Emmanuel to seek the welfare of the city. So one of the things that I mentioned previously is that in questioning Christianity, we utilized one of them was faith, doubt, and jazz. So we have a wonderful jazz drummer who's part of our congregation, just became a member there just a few weeks back, and he came to me a little bit ago and said, "Hey, what do you think about putting on a regular jam session, jazz jam session, where we can actually allow the building to be used by musicians who are in the area?" And truthfully, there's a lot of jazz musicians, top notch musicians, both students and professionals in the area that want to be able to continue to grow in their craft, but they don't have necessarily a space outside of driving down to Detroit, and that's a major commitment for them. So he said, "Hey, what do you think about us just hosting this?" And I said, that sounds fantastic. So, one of the ways that we're blessing the community is through that. Our hope is that through hosting that and through having conversations with those who attend, both those who come as listeners and as players, that there would actually be something that is helpful for the community, not just in terms of providing a space for great music to develop and be cultivated, but also that great conversations about the gospel would also be cultivated too. So, that's something that's pretty exciting in terms of mission and outreach. Maybe a couple other things that I'll mention is this: we remain very committed to um, crew at Oakland University, very involved with the students there. In fact, I'm speaking there next week, and but we're also participating in helping to found a young life group at the local high school here. And this has been a lot of fun, but it's been even more fun watching some of our members get involved with what's happening there. And so continue to pray for that. It's a major endeavor. It takes funding, other things that are required. So um, pray for not only Emmanuel's involvement, but just pray for Young Life in general as they seek to bring in someone who could be a full time staff member and who could really get this off the ground, because there's a great way to be involved in the local high school that also leads to participation of families and students within local churches. And that's really our goal. We want to see a thriving Clarkston. We want to see Clarkston students thriving, not just academically or athletically, but also spiritually. So pray for that. Final thing to mention is some of you have already gotten notifications from not only me, but also from Mission to North America that there was a changeover in the giving system. And so I just want to bring your attention to that. If you take a look and you go, oh, something happened with a glitch with the giving system and my gift has not been being given, I'm going to be reaching out to different people. But if you notice that, hey, please reach out, let me know, so that way we can get anything that has been a little bit goofed up with that along the way. So that's a little bit about what's happening at Emmanuel. Um, we're praying for you guys as well as you are involved in the places that God's planted you, to see the gospel go forth, to see um, rich, honest gospel community cultivated among believers, and then also to really just enjoy and delight in hearing the gospel preached again and again to our hearts as we gather together. So my prayer is that you would be experiencing rich season of that, the same way that we are at Emmanuel. And would love to talk to you sometime soon, give you a more personalized update. But until that time, bye for now, and God bless.